Okay, what's going on here? Let's see. Let me play this clip of Soteriology 101 has Idol Killer on his channel. Warren McGrew, Soteriology 101 is Leighton Flowers. He has Warren on, and they're reviewing James White critiquing Dr. Flowers. And it's kind of funny because it's kind of a silly mistake. And I want to give a little bit of commentary on my own opinion on this. And I want to offer consideration to those who are Calvinists, who think they have it all figured out. So let me play this small portion of this clip, because I think people should be called out when they make a silly mistake like this in the way that they were trying to use it against Flowers here. And so it should be pointed out, because that you'll never do it again if you're embarrassed by it a little bit.
Link was sent to me, and so I posted it, and it's just White having this, and this is from a while back. This is not a new clip. It's just one I think maybe I'd missed along the way or something, and it's one of the Radio Free Genevas, and he's critiquing me here, and I just reposted it because it's pretty, James White is a guy that really, in a sense, prides himself on his knowledge of John chapter 6. I mean, he's really big about walking through John chapter 6 and how important it is and knowing John chapter 6. And then we hear this. So listen.
Well, is that when Jesus is down from heaven, he's not trying to get everyone to come to faith in him right up front.
It's just very, again, rather idiosyncratic. When Jesus is down from heaven, most of us refer to that as the incarnate state. During the period.
Yeah, you nincompoop. The theologians, all of us theologians on the Ivory Tower. We call that, you and your city country drawl. Yuck. That's your problem, Leighton. You got a country drawl, see? Just, if you just had that NT Wright accent, you might, wouldn't be as easy, Sorry, man. It's just the way the cookie crumbled. You were born in Texas, so I'm sure you're not displeased with. But either way, it does help to have an accent. I mean, you have like 30% more subscribers within a year if you have that accent, that English accent.
Of Jesus's humiliation, his incarnation, not down from heaven. It's like I've got a friend right now is down in Branson.
Yeehaw, let's have ourselves a shindig. You country bumpkin.
Just going down and visiting. Just don't know where this terminology.
There's just one little problem here.
Obviously, always comes from.
So I don't know where this terminology even come from. This down from heaven. Where does that even come from?
Yeah, where would you? That's a Texas thing, right? Leighton? That's a Texas thing, I think, right?
Or a John 6 thing. I mean, he only says it. He only says it 3 times in John chapter 6, which I quote for him. Where he said, I came down from heaven. And so this again, maybe he just messed up there. No big deal. You kind of poke fun of somebody, but it just demonstrates, I think, the biased lenses that White has towards provisionism, and he's almost like he's looking for something to disagree with, versus looking for points of agreement, trying to be somewhat conciliatory and say, hey, we probably agree on this point. We have some things in common here. It's almost like he's just trying to find something to throw at me.
I think it's personal.
What it feels like.
I think it's a personality thing where, if he's reading this in the text and it says, I came down from heaven. Amen. That's Jesus speaking. When Leighton says this about what Jesus said, I can't agree with it because Leighton is saying it, and anything Leighton says must be wrong. So, I think that maybe it's that that personality, like oil and water thing.
That's certainly what's often going on. It certainly is a personality issue, I would say, but I think is what it reflects more. And I'm not disagreeing with what Warren said, but I think namely why White made that mistake, because the text says it. Leighton used the terminology of the very verse, which is a critical verse in defending Calvinism. Unfortunately, John 5 exists first, but I think Leighton sees this too, and I think those are interesting points. But what's going on is this: it is a little bit of arrogance, and we all have that issue because he's convinced himself that Leighton is wrong in such a way that he has nothing to really offer, and he's strawmanned the view in his mind for so long, and then with that accent, that southern drawl, he can kind of riff off of that, and that's enforced in his head, and he's so set on doing that, which is kind of what these guys are saying basically in another way. But it's like he's inclined to find something jumping out at him wherever he can that seems dumb. But the thing is, he was thinking, oh, you're not a scholar and you can't even remember the word incarnate, the incarnate Christ, and that is the important distinction when talking about theology, that you're just kind of fumbling around saying, oh, he came down from heaven, without realizing the text. You're literally using the terminology of the text in discussion, because he's so inclined to hear you as saying something that should be dumb, right? So, and you, in my opinion, over the years, I think James White has demonstrated, although I don't think he means it like he doesn't want to be. It's not like he hates Leighton Flowers, I'm sure, but he's irritating to him. And I think he has cognitive dissonance over some of the good arguments, like most of my friends who are Calvinists who think, say the same things I hear repeated. It's like, do you guys even watch his show? How much do you watch it? Like, the things you guys, like, I hear you guys say to each other about Leighton Flowers sometimes. I don't usually say anything because I don't really want to cause a big stir or get an argument about it. But it's so easy to do, is the point, when it's someone who's opposing your view. I know it is for me. So it's like, we have to try to be charitable and like really listen to people, but it gets tiresome.